What's up, guys? Welcome to Kinda Funny Games Daily for Wednesday, March 27th, 2019. I'm Tim Geddes, and because it's Wednesday, yes, this is in fact Gary Whitta. How you doing?
I'm still finishing my Twinkie.
Your strawberry Twinkie.
I love you. You guys always have the best snacks in your little office kitchen back there.
People keep sending us stuff.
Yeah,
Please
right?
stop.
Because
you're influencers. When you're influencers, you just get free shit all the time.
Happen, and it's like free shit that, like, I don't know that anybody asked for the strawberry Twinkies. You know,
I didn't ask for it, but I was glad to see them.
God,
I'm just saying,
I
like,
want them so bad.
Huh?
I want them so.
I know,
badly.
but it's like, no, like Kevin's over there trying to diet. I'm thinking about trying to diet. You know how hard it is to not eat these strawberry Twinkies?
Look, we had this conversation before the show. Sugar-free, calorie-free Red Bull plus Twinkie.
Yeah,
they cancel each other out.
I don't know how you're doing this.
That's how math works.
Your math sounds weird. I don't know, man.
They cancel each other out. A negative force when it meets a positive force.
But
yeah.
Twinkies.
The result is.
Here's the thing, he's bringing up a solid point, Kevin.
0 calories is not the same as negative calories.
Negative, positive. He's talking about forces in nature. He's not talking about calories, dude.
Where did you go to school?
Come on, God, Kevin. You are disgusting. You're a disgusting human being,
guilt-free
okay?
Twinkie. No, it's a great time to come to Kinda Funny because you always get good snacks because of your status as influencers, and we're in the run up to Easter, so you've got all this spring Easter candy.
Everything's
back
pink
there.
and yellow.
Everything's
man.
pink. Either little Easter egg shaped Oreos. It's just a magical time.
Send healthy stuff. You know what I mean? Or at least. I don't know.
Isn't that really what you want?
Snack?
You really want people sending you like kale and
like
broccoli snacks and stuff? You don't want that.
I don't want. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Kinda Funny Games Daily. Each and every weekday right here on twitch.tv/kindafunnygames. We get together, talk through all of the biggest video game news of the day. If you're watching live, you can correct us when we get stuff wrong by going to kindafunny.com/you're wrong. If you don't want to watch live, you can watch later on youtube.com/kindafunnygames or listen later on podcast services around the globe by searching for Kinda Funny Games Daily. If you want to be part of the show, you can go to patreon.com/kindafunnygames, where bronze members or above get to write in, and silver members or above get the show ad-free. It's fantastic. Today, we are sponsored by Quip and Harry's.
There you go. There you go.
Harry's. But we'll get to that later. Gary, how have you been?
I've been doing good. I'm fighting off a bit. I don't know if there's something going around, but I've been fighting off a bit of a cold. Been a bit snuffly.
There's something going around.
There is going
for
around.
sure.
It's not just me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I definitely got it. Whatever it is that's going around. I've been very stuffy.
Yeah.
Still playing the Division. Still got just hit World Tier 4.
Wow.
Last night.
Greg Miller just explained to me what that is. That sounds like a big deal.
Yeah. So once you hit level 30, you start advancing your gear score. And you go up through different world. There's 4 different world. Well, there's 5, but the 5th one's not out yet. And I just hit the highest level right now. My gear score is 388. Highest you can get is around 450. Oh my god! So I'm getting close.
You're a Division master.
Like I said, I love the first game. I'm really enjoying this one. I found a great group of people to play with.
Have you played with Fred at all?
No, because they're all over on the they're on the PlayStation side. Me and Ice-T are over on the Xbox side.
What does that mean?
Ice-T.
Are you playing with Ice-T?
No, I just happen to know that he is also playing the Xbox version. That would be cool if I was playing with Ice-T.
You talk about our influencer status, and it's like, oh, you guys are just getting sent all these like secret snacks and stuff. I look at you, Mr. like Hollywood celebrity guy, and you're just like casually dropping, yeah, Ice-T plays. I'm like, oh yeah, I don't even think that you're not playing with him.
No, just
I just assume that you are.
Ice-T's really into the game as well. He posts about it on Twitter.
Yeah.
And he posted a screenshot of his agent, and by looking at the screen, you could tell which version he was playing. And I was satisfied to see that he, like me, was playing the Xbox version.
Wow. God, what a time to be alive. Today's stories include Borderlands 3's little teaser, Cyberpunk hype, and Wolfenstein Youngblood gets a release date. But first, little housekeeping for you. Greg Miller is doing something. Honestly, I don't really know what it is. Kevin, can you pull up the link that I put in there?
Yeah.
He is trying to win a competition that ESPN is putting on, where it's kind of a March Madness
as of right now,
bracket,
he's winning.
And as of right now, he's beating Sinatra, who is one of the San Francisco Shock members.
What is this? I don't understand what this is.
Don't
Gary,
ask questions,
can you
Gary.
Hashtag esports64. What is that?
I don't know.
Gary, can you go to Twitter and go ahead and vote for Greg?
It's important.
I mean, it looks like he doesn't need my help. He's got a healthy lead.
He does.
Because the competition's over in 5 hours.
Okay.
And as of like 10 hours ago, it was like Greg was being destroyed.
Right.
And then they tied up a bit, and it's been a back and forth battle.
But what even is it? What?
Here's the thing,
It
Gary,
doesn't
don't ask
matter.
questions.
We
I
just
kind of
need to
funny. We
win.
just want to win things.
I mean, I know that it's esports. I'm not supposed to understand it, but
Gary, you're trying too hard right now. You
Greg,
just have to like it.
I understand why this guy Sinatra might be there because he plays for a professional Overwatch team, right? That's
Yeah,
what the SF
that's
Shock
what he
is. See, I
does.
know that much.
Uh-huh.
But what's Greg doing? He's not an esports guy.
Hey, man.
A lot of
don't
people
hate,
say
don't
he
hate on his
is.
hustle. Have
A
you
lot
watched
of-
Party Mode?
That's not esports.
It's
Hey, that's up to your opinion. The Kind of Funny World Tour comes to Kansas City this Saturday. Come hang out with us all day at Planet Comicon for panels with the cast of Smallville, Mick Foley, Henry Winkler, the Power Rangers. It's going to be fun. Then come to our meet and greet at the Flying Saucer Draught Emporium. No badges needed for the meet and greet. New York City is next week. Oh my God, that's soon. And thank you to our Patreon producers, Blackjack, Tom Bach, and Mohammed. Let's begin with what is and forever will be the Roper Report. It's time for some news. We have 6 stories today.
a baker's dozen.
Let's start off with a big one. A Borderlands announcement is teased for tomorrow. Bless you, Kevin.
There is something going around.
There is.
Look at it.
Gia's at home right now, and she's not doing well.
she's under the weather as well?
It's real bad. She
All
was
right.
sneezing and coughing up shit all
my
night.
goodness.
Kept keeping me up. I'm a tired boy.
You're the real victim here.
All right, so no hugging from now on.
No hugging ever. 2K put out a CG trailer called Mask of Mayhem. It doesn't call it Borderlands 3, but it says more will be revealed at the Gearbox PAX East panel tomorrow, March 28th. You can tune into the live stream at 11 a.m. Pacific. Did you get a chance to watch this trailer?
I saw a little bit of the animation. It was just one of those. It was like one of those teasers where all they show is like an image, right, like a logo.
It reminded me of the end of Age of Ultron, where they there's like the statue of all the characters and the camera's just kind of going around them.
Right.
It's just a CG fun little thing. Like you can get a couple hints at some characters that are going to be at some enemies. So
there's no chance at all at this point that this isn't Borderlands 3, right? It's 100%
no chance at all.
certain, right?
Will it be called Borderlands 3? I don't know. There's I guess a question there. I assume it will be, honestly. But
it's a cool piece of animation.
Yeah, it is. And I mean, you know, there's
like, you got guys
hype
like
it
doing
up.
buggies.
Hyping up tomorrow.
Yeah, that's Borderlands.
So we're gonna get some more info. Does this do anything for you?
Well, only in the sense that I'm not a huge Borderlands fan. If I were a Borderlands fan, look, there's the Borderlands guy right there. I'm sure I would find it very exciting. It's a beautiful piece of animation. It's been a long time since when was Borderlands 2? Remind me. When was the last core Borderlands
2.
game?
I want to say 2012.
Going back a few years, right?
2012.
So that would have been what, 360 PlayStation 3 era?
Yeah. There hasn't been a proper Borderlands on this generation. There's been the remaster of the Handsome Jack collection. I think it was called.
It's been long enough that we could expect to see this new Border game look sufficiently extremely better than. I don't know where my tongue is at this morning, but like I can't get words out.
Much better.
We can expect this to look significantly better than previous Borderlands games because it's been a long time. We've had a generational leap. This is going to look the shit, right? We hope so.
That's the idea, right? Now,
and that animation there sets a very high standard.
The only kind of question I have is like, what does all the shakeups and everything that's been going on over at 2K mean? Like with the Randy Pitchford stuff and with all of that, and with the kind of flopping of their last game.
What was the last one that flopped?
Not Heroes of the Storm. God damn it! What is it? We're doing great today,
we are.
Gary.
This is what I'm telling you. This is what happens when you put Kind of Funny Games Daily on first thing in the morning before anyone's had a chance to wake
up. Is the game
up.
like Overwatch?
Oh,
Battle
droid.
Battleborn.
Battleborn.
There you go.
Battleborn.
See, ladies and gentlemen, we'll get there
did they
together.
release that at the wrong time? Because that came out like roughly around the same time as Overwatch, didn't it?
And I feel like it kind of was like their answer to Overwatch, and it wasn't a great answer. So
if you're going to go up against a game like Overwatch, you better have a fucking good answer. Because if not, you're just going to get steamrolled, which is what happened.
And they did. So,
but Borderlands is obviously their Gearbox over the years. I think has been mostly hit, but they've had their fair share of misses. Everyone still remembers the Aliens game, and some of the other missteps that they've made. But Borderlands is that's their bread and butter franchise.
It is their constant, And you know, we've seen the kind of spin-offy games as well, but like even those were good. They weren't as good as the core titles. But then we have now 3. There was a lot of expectation there. Gillybruns writes in and says, "Hi guys, happy Widow Wednesday. With the Borderlands announcement on the way tomorrow, do you guys anticipate that what we'll see will greatly differ from the Borderlands style we've come to know? These days, I keep hearing people cite Borderlands as one of the first looter shooters to spawn this new wave of similar live service games. But do you think these games as a service models will have any impact on this new installment? In the past, Borderlands has had great success with paid DLC, but could something like that exist today?" And it's very interesting to think about, you know, like, because everything you're saying, I don't necessarily know if that's true. I don't know if Borderlands can have the same type of significance that it did back then.
Do you think that if Borderlands 3 is pretty much more of the same Borderlands 2, it would feel outdated in today's landscape?
I think it would.
Right.
And on top of that, I think that if they were to try to chase the modern version of it, which would be a
loot shooter
or something like that,
right?
I don't know that out the gate it's going to be as successful as something like, and that's the problem is, you know, we've seen this so many times. Like, look at Anthem.
If I was working at a game developer, and the head of the studio came in and said, "Good news, everybody. We've decided that our next project is going to be one of these big open world live service loot shooter type games," I would just shoot myself.
Oh my God.
Or I would just quit and walk out. Because
one of the two options,
because it just seems like unless you get it exactly, and the Division, to its credit, has probably got it more right out of the gate than any other game. But look at BioWare's the cautionary tale. BioWare, which is a quadruple A developer, like as big as it gets, and they came out of the gate with Anthem was like their big bet, fully supported by EA. They threw everything at it, and it's been a fucking nightmare. Like, I mean, who would want to be a developer working on that game right now? It's just it must be miserable. And it's hard working on any game, but it seems like these particular kind of games where there's so much to deal with in terms of keeping there's a live community out there all the time. They're breaking things. There's a constant need to kind of give them enough loot to keep them interested, but not so much loot that they finish the game too early. Trying to find that balance, making sure that when people hit end game, there's a lot for them to do. Trying to keep all those millions of people happy is just absolutely, it must be a demoralizing experience at times. And so I would not want to be involved in developing a game like that. It just seems like it would be just too horrible.
Yeah.
The question is, perhaps more interestingly than my observation that the game's going to look better because it's been 7 years since the last one, is how much has the gaming landscape changed. We have
Very
moved
much.
to an area into an area now where a lot of these loot shooters have become or battle royale have become, there's a whole new genres of game that have now become in vogue. And the question is, I imagine that Borderlands has been in development for quite a long time. Have they anticipated this? What have they? This is going to be the interesting question that I would like to see the answer. Even as a non-Borderlands fan, just as kind of an observer of the marketplace, I'll be interested to see, have they jumped on those same trains as everyone else? Will there be some kind of battle royale? Will there be some kind of Destiny style, open universe feel to it? Are they going to chase those trends? Or maybe I would like to see they would just go off and do their own thing and say, look, it's not what Borderlands used to be, because obviously we want to evolve and move on. It's not what you think it might be, like battle royale or loot shooter, because everyone else is doing that and we don't want to chase trends. Here's something new that you didn't expect that we're developing, which is going to be interesting. And I have no idea what to expect, but I do have faith in Gearbox. I think that, like I said, even though they have had their missteps over the years, when it comes to Borderlands, they pretty much have handled that franchise, I think, with care. They understand it's the jewel in their crown, and they generally, for the most part, but again, I'm not a passionate observer of Borderlands, but have they ever really fallen on their face in the Borderlands world? Like, all their Borderlands games have been pretty well received, right?
Yeah, I mean, like I said earlier, like the spin-off ones, they kind of just started feeling derivative, but then they stopped them. Right. So, like, I don't know. I don't want to be on the hate train for this because it's not as negative as I might be sounding on this right now. But I don't think that they are not that they're not capable, but they're not going to come out with something that is this third option.
You don't think they're going to wow?
New.
It's going to be something totally original.
I don't think so. I think it's going to be.
Well, what's your guess?
Either
what do you
or.
think? If you had to guess something, what do you think?
So, Let me read the next question.
Okay.
And then give the answer.
Sounds good.
So Robert Mimms says, having seen the Borderlands hype train teaser this morning and the interaction between Gearbox and Xbox on Twitter, both today and with the previous news, what do you think is the likelihood that Borderlands 3 releases day and date on Xbox Game Pass? Could they be crazy enough to make it an Xbox exclusive? Is there a world where something can release on Game Pass and have a full retail release at the same time? What does that mean for PlayStation and PC storefronts like Steam and Epic? I would not be surprised if this is another game that's exclusive on Epic Game Store on the PC side of things. That makes sense to me, based on
every
the trends we've been seeing.
every major PC game that comes out now, there's a new conversation we're having about which stores are going to land. It used to be obviously Steam, or obviously Origin if it's an EA game, but it was pretty much was that, and everything else was on Steam. But now with the emergence of the Epic Store and other stores that we're seeing come to the fore, there's this a big additional question of, well, where am I going to have to go to buy it?
Yeah,
Tim,
I think Epic Game Store's the answer there.
If it comes out on Game Pass, right?
Yeah.
Then wouldn't it automatically be available through Microsoft's backend? Because can't you play every Game Pass game on... No.
That's so Microsoft games are play anywhere.
Got it.
And like that's not even always true.
Thanks, Tim.
But yeah, so there you go. But all of this together, so answering the question of do I think it could be day and date on Xbox Game Pass, I don't think that is highly likely, but I do think there's a chance, and I think that actually educates my guess to what this game is, where I think that this could be a more outdated game if their strategy is let's get it in the hands of as many people as possible, i.e. something like Game Pass that is just going to keep people playing. Right. So just like let's get them in, and they're not expecting this major upgrade title. They're just it's going to be a fun game to play. What does that mean on the PS4 side of things? That's where it gets complicated, and I don't know because I don't see this being Xbox exclusive.
No, I don't quite get where the question is speculation is coming from here, because there's never, as far as I'm aware, there's never been a third-party game that launched day and date on Game Pass. I know all the Microsoft first-party games do, but for the most part,
let us know if we're
for the most part,
Game
Pass third-party games show up on Game Pass like sometime after the fact, right?
But you have to imagine that's
maybe
gonna
State of
change.
Decay 2. I can't remember.
Well, State of Decay is Microsoft.
Oh, that's right. Okay, so and then why would Xbox? Why would it be an Xbox exclusive? Borderlands has always been a multi-platform title. Why would that change now?
If Xbox were to put money down to get it as a Game
Is Borderlands the kind of game that it's worth going to the mat to get first-party exclusive though?
It kind of is. It kind of could be, right? I think that's the thing is that if Microsoft were to get exclusivity on it and say, hey, it's coming to Game Pass, like day and date, I think that would generate a lot of interest and get a lot more people playing potentially if the game isn't a transformative experience that we haven't seen before from Gearbox or Borderlands, right? I don't think that's the case. I think that they're going to be multi-plat with this one. And actually, was it always multi-plat? I'm pretty sure when it first started, it was just Xbox.
I don't remember. This is a job for you're wrong.
Yeah, let us know.
But my guess is I don't think they're going to reinvent the wheel. I agree. I don't think it's option 3 either. I don't think they're going to chase the Destiny, Division, Anthem model. I think it's going to be mostly, I'm going to say it's 80% warm blanket, right? 80% comfort food, 80% this is the Borderlands you know and love, with 20% of like some new gimmicks and features to make it, to bring it up to date. But I think for the most part, it's going to be, to people that know and love Borderlands, it's going to be familiar but in a welcome way, I think.
Yeah.
That's my guess.
I think so as well. I think 80% is a fair thing, because I do think that they need that 20% modernization that's not too close to these games as a service, but is a step above what we saw a decade ago.
Yeah, you don't want to feel like you're stuck in the past, and a graphical refresh is not going to do it.
I still think that it might. I don't know. I'm trepidatious about this one.
I just think from a business point of view, chasing that Destiny dollar, that loot shooter dollar, is a very well, I was going to say high risk, high reward, but we don't even know about the high reward part yet, right? Is anyone making a ton of money out of this genre? We don't know.
I mean, yeah, they are. Like,
I mean, Destiny's obviously, but I mean, even that was a struggle to get there, right? On two, with the first game and with the second game, both of those games faltered out of the
Monster Hunter
gate.
World, I think, is another example of them making a ton of money.
So high risk. So let's say high risk, high reward, and that's something you've got to be. And it's an increasingly crowded genre. My guess is that Halo with Halo Infinite is going to go into this space as well. This is going to be, I think, even more so than Battle Royale. I think this is going to become the most crowded genre out there right now. This whole kind of like, come to our, don't just play a game and then move on to the next game. Come to our world and live in it and stay here, and we'll keep updating with content, and we want you to stay with us forever.
Yeah.
Games are increasingly games are increasingly asking you the question, Tim. Where is this relationship going?
Yeah.
Are we just gonna play around for a while and you're off to the next game?
Man.
Or are you ready to make a commitment?
I'm not ready to find
Are you in for the end game? Are you in for the season pass DLC? For a commitment, folks.
Well, you put a ring on it.
That's right.
It's going to cost you as much as a ring at the end of the day.
Right.
God damn. We'll find out tomorrow what's going on with Borderlands. Next up, Wolfenstein Youngblood gets a release date. This comes from Owen S. Good at Polygon. Wolfenstein Youngblood, the next chapter of Machine Games' twisted and violent alternate history, will launch July 26. Publisher Bethesda Softworks announced Wednesday. Bethesda also announced that the co-op shooter may be shared and played among friends for free with a few conditions. Someone has to buy Wolfenstein Youngblood's Deluxe Edition and then share its buddy pass with a pal, and the two of them have to be playing the game together at the same time. But the second person will still be able to experience all of the game for free. Bethesda said. The buddy pass may also be shared among multiple friends, although only one at a time may play with the owner. It's coming to Nintendo Switch, PS4, Windows, Xbox One. The Deluxe Edition's $40 and the normal version's $30. The buddy pass thing sounds pretty interesting.
Yeah, and I'm interested in the whole co-op aspects of this. I did see the trailer for this morning. Obviously, loved the Wolfenstein universe is great fun. And I mean,
this looks like even more fun.
And it's $30. And I actually really like the idea. My wife and I are increasingly looking for games that we can play collaboratively, cooperatively as a team, and this is a great way to do that.
Yeah.
So I wish there were more. I wish there was more. One of the excuse me. One of the things I like about The Division is playing with other people on a team, and you fight the bad guys together cooperatively. So I would like to see more of that. Obviously, that works in the context of like a large open world online game. But I would like to see cooperative play, and obviously Halo did it very successfully.
Oh, yeah.
Built more, just baked more into kind of story campaign. Good old-fashioned shooters.
Especially shorter story campaigns.
Yeah.
Like this game is very enticing to me for all the reasons you just said, in addition to the fact that you were probably expecting a 6-hour campaign from this, something like that. That sounds fun.
Yeah.
Sounds real good.
I'm looking forward to it. The trailer looked great.
Yeah. The music was awesome.
So BJ Blazkowicz has gone missing. And you've got to go, I guess two of you have to go track him down. So you don't play as BJ in this one for a change.
It's his kid. Right. Yeah. So cool stuff, man. Very exciting. Next news story. The Final Fantasy 15 studio begins work on a new AAA game. This comes from Shabana Arif on IGN. A new AAA game from Final Fantasy 15's Luminous Productions is seemingly now in the works. Luminous was set up by Final Fantasy 15 director Hajime Tabata, who has now quit the company and includes much of the original Final Fantasy 15 team in its staff. According to a Famitsu interview with Final Fantasy 15 DLC director Takashi Terada, this will be a reset era, the studio's next title will be set in a brand new world and is the reason that Luminous Productions was established. I cannot talk about the details, but like Final Fantasy 15, I will create a game based on a new world drawn with high quality, high end. Please be assured that the next project is already in motion, said Terada when asked when the studio is developing now that the Final Fantasy 15 story has come to an end. This is exciting to me in 10 years from now, because this would be like the first time that they're from the ground up, this team is working on their own game. Final Fantasy 15 could have been amazing. It was pretty good. And I think the problem with that is it had so many restarts, so many different people's hands in the cookie jar. And I think that the gameplay was fantastic, but the story was completely lacking because they started it, they got halfway done, they canned it, but then they took elements from it, and it always felt like it was built on a shoddy foundation. And because of that, it felt inconsequential playing through it. And I feel like the DLC helped that a lot because they kept adding more and more and more, but that's too little too late, right? Like once somebody plays through the game, you can't retroactively make the story better later and just expect people to be like, oh, well, it's a good story now, so it should have been a good story then. It's like, that's just not how people play games. But the game was beautiful. It ran great. It played great. And I believe in this team, and I think that them having their own thing, not having to worry about the Final Fantasy name, not having to worry about all of the past debacles that have went on, I really believe they can make something that's truly special.
Yeah, I mean, it's a team with a top pedigree. I like high quality. I like high end. No problems there. These are checking the right boxes for me. And yeah, it's always exciting when, rather than do like the 16th or 17th or 18th iteration, I obviously understand Final Fantasy is super popular and there will be 16th, 17th.
And they're all very, very different.
It'll go on forever. But it's nice when they go back to the whiteboard and create something from scratch, a new universe. So I'll be excited to see what they come up with.
And actually, having said that I'm not entirely sure that it's confirmed that it's not a Final Fantasy game. I don't expect it to be.
Right.
But we'll have to see there. But yeah, exciting stuff. And then next up, we got some CD Projekt Red news. This comes from Giuseppe Neva at Twinfinite. Big Twinfinite. Today, CD Projekt Red hosted its financial conference call for investors, and it was quite focused on Cyberpunk 2077. Later in the presentation, we heard from the president that this E3 will be the most important ever for CD Projekt Red, and they have prepared a strong show. The team expects this E3 to be even stronger than the last one. And let me tell you, as somebody that saw that behind closed doors demo, it was very strong last year. Cyberpunk was the talk of E3.
Yeah, I remember a lot of people.
Were you at E3 last year?
No, but I remember watching a lot of videos of people coming out of that demo room being really wowed by it.
It was wowing,
yeah.
Gary. It was awesome. And like the way that they talked about the game, the way they believed in the game, I don't think I've ever been a part of a E3 demo that made me that impressed.
Yeah, it looked great. I remember watching. There was like I think they put like
they eventually put it
like
online.
a 20-minute demo online that people could watch, and it looked amazing.
Yeah, the next game project after. This is the surprising part. The next game project after Cyberpunk 2077 is already underway, and the company wants to go beyond gamers' expectations. Yet we shouldn't draw conclusions on what the game is just yet. It's a completely new title and not a port of an old game, but it's too early to talk about it now. The team is still much smaller than the Cyberpunk team, and the concept is different even if the quality is going to remain, quote, stellar. The president also mentioned that the development of Cyberpunk is quite advanced, so it's a bit late to draw inspiration from other games in the market. In any case, it's not into CD Projekt's DNA to do so. The game isn't competing directly with Fortnite, as it's a very different form of entertainment. I think this is all really good news based on everything we were just talking about with Borderlands. He also confirmed that the plan for Cyberpunk to possibly be cross-generation already exists. While the new generation has not been announced yet, Red Engine has been developed from scratch so that it can extend from generation to generation. Quote, if there's an opportunity for us to launch Cyberpunk for another generation, we would want to do this probably. Read between the lines. It's happening. It's coming to next gen as well.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, who's not excited about Cyberpunk, right? This is an exciting game,
It's a very exciting
and
game.
and you'll get to see at this E3 like what strides it's made in the past year of development.
Yeah,
so it'll be exciting.
Hopefully, a bit more concrete information on timeframes and things like that.
I thought the demo looked phenomenal. My only question is, and it seems like the excitement for the game has already kind of answered this, but just personally, I remember when they announced a game called Cyberpunk 2077. I remember thinking, really, is it 1996 already? Mm-hmm. Like it just feels like that whole mood of like a guy in a leather trench coat kind of walking down some neon lit, rainy alleyway in the future while like, hover cars fly overhead. Just feels like a very dated vision of the future these days. And the whole cyberpunk thing, like you go back to William Gibson, you go back to kind of the crappy Billy Idol album that he put out in the 90s that was called Cyberpunk. And it just kind of feels like that's a vision of the future, and that's a milieu that has kind of had its day. Maybe this is just the grumpy old man in me, but I'm surprised that Cyberpunk is back now and people are excited about it again.
I'm totally with you. I think, like neon blue, neon pink, it's totally played out. But the thing with that is that whole look, right, is I think it's kind of transcended being what people think the future is and just kind of become become a setting people are familiar with.
Yeah, it's just an aesthetic that people like.
And exactly. And I think that in the same way, like The Witcher's fantasy, and it's not like people are like, oh, there's too many fantasy things.
Right.
Right. I think Cyberpunk, the game, is kind of just like, hey, we know everyone thinks it's cool. Let's just all agree we think it's cool. Play it out or not, it's fucking cool.
And also you could make the argument that while the cyberpunk idea and that aesthetic's been around in popular culture for a long time, it's never really been realized at a super high level. You think about it, right? Like, what have we ever had? Like
sure.
Johnny Mnemonic? Like it's never really been like on a movie. There's never been like the AAA Hollywood cyberpunk blockbuster that totally nailed it and looked amazing.
Blade Runner, but it wasn't a success.
But I don't think a Blade Runner is cyberpunk. I feel like that's its own thing.
Well, I'd say
I share some of the aesthetic.
Cyber noir. Well, I would give it.
When I think of cyberpunk, when I think of
cyberpunk,
I think of like body modification and there's
Blade Runner.
Yeah, I guess. It's going to be interesting to say. Like I said, I if you execute it right, like people always say, like in Hollywood, oh, like certain genres are fall out of favor. Like no one makes horror movies anymore. But suddenly horror movie is a hit, and now horror is the hottest genre again. Yeah. Nobody makes westerns anymore. But it only takes one really great western to come back, and kind of suddenly the genre is back in vogue. So maybe this is the game that will bring this kind of aesthetic and this kind of feel back in vogue. Because again, when I remember when there was a part of that demo where he walked out into this big living city, this big open plaza, and I remember thinking like that's one of the most impressive visions of like a cyberpunk, influenced, future aesthetic I've ever seen. Like I said, I've never really seen it realized. Again, outside of the Blade Runner movies, which are pretty close, I've never really seen an aesthetic rendered at such a high level where it just looks so damn good.
On top of that, like, and this might sound a little hyperbolic, but that what you just talked about, a walk in and when you see that kind of courtyard area, it reminded me of Ocarina of Time and seeing Hyrule Fields and just being like, oh my god. And later there's a moment where they're outside and then there's cars driving by, and it reminded me of the first time I played GTA 3. Where all of a sudden video games felt bigger than they ever had before. And the fact that a video game is making me feel that way just from watching it is huge, because those are once in a generation moments, right?
Yeah.
Where it's like there's this transformative thing. Hopefully it lives up to that and is that good. But with the pedigree of the Witcher series, I feel like there is definitely the potential, and like not even just a chance, I think it's expected that it will live up to that hype. And I am turned off entirely by fantasy settings and scenarios. So Witcher 3, as amazing as the game
as
everyone
it's
says
just not
it
your
is,
cup of tea.
I just like could not, I don't even want to give it a shot really. It's just like not for me. Whereas Cyberpunk, it's the opposite, where I'm like, all right, the guys that made that everyone loved made a game that looks
and that goes back to the point we were making earlier. I think what is attractive about these games, when they realize a world that is this glorious and it looks this good, it's the offer that they're making to people, to their customers, is not come play this game. It's come immerse yourself, lose yourself in this whole world that we built for you. And when the world building is as good as that. Again, I mean, I feel that way about The Division. When you're walking around Washington, D.C., feels like this amazing world, like this real living world that you're in. Absolutely, I had this. I remember, with GTA 5, I remember just feeling absolutely awestruck by like how much of a real world it felt like. And I just enjoy. I mean, I had like 5-6 hour playing game sessions of GTA where I didn't do a single mission. I just went and did fucking yoga and played golf and just lived in the world, because it was just because you role play it, you get into the character, you feel like, yeah, I want to spend time in this world. And I think they're building a world with 2077 that looks very much like. Again, I don't even care if I go do missions. I just want to hang out in that universe.
Yeah. Very, very interesting stuff. E3 is going to be very interesting.
I mean, very excited to see, because obviously it's very cyberpunky, if there is any VR plans for this title, because that would be amazing.
I highly doubt it.
Right? Really? Why?
Yeah, just
you think they could do it?
I just don't think that they would allocate the resources to that. Like, that sounds like
but it fits the cyberpunk idea so well.
They'd want to nail that. You know what I mean? And I just feel like step one's the game. You know what I mean? Like, let's get that done, especially with next gen coming and all of that. Like, I feel like there's so much that they would need to get right just with this product, that adding something else to it might kind of muck up the waters.
Maybe that's the next step, though. I think we're about a generation or two away from the VR technology really maturing and being something that people will finally want to spend time in. And this obviously would be the perfect kind of game for that, because you want to jack into the Matrix and go, like I said, that feeling of immersing yourself in another world. When VR gets that right, that's so much more immersive than just playing on a TV screen.
Yeah, definitely. A little more CD Projekt Red news. Gwent is coming to smartphones. Standalone Witcher card game Gwent is coming to mobile phones later this year. CD Projekt Red announced today the game will come to iPhones first, with the Android release being announced at a later date. So there you go. And then Yoshi's Crafted World reviews are in. It has a Metacritic score of 80 currently. IGN gave it a 7.8. GameSpot a 8. Destructoid a 7.5.
Let's go, dude.
You hyped about that, Barrett?
Fuck yeah, man. Let's go, Yoshi.
Yoshi's Crafted World. I
genuinely am excited. My kid, because my kid loved Woolly World.
It's gonna be perfect.
She loved it. And that's another one that has a great. There you go. Woolly World fans represent.
Yoshi, what's up? What's up?
We loved Woolly World. It has another game that has a great 2-player co-op mode,
and this one does as well.
This looks like more of the same but better. My kid, this will be a day one purchase for my kid. She will love this.
That's awesome. There you go, man. Day one though, that sounds so far away, Gary. If I want to know what games were coming to mom and pop shops today, where would I look?
Hold on, I got to get on the right page. The official list of upcoming software across each and every platform, as listed by the Kinda Funny Games daily show hosts. Each and every weekday. I noticed that this is the Training Wheels version of the scripts that has all the Greg ways and stuff that he would usually extemporize.
This is the Fran version.
This is the version so that he knows everything.
We made a new template so that like whoever's hosting can at least kind of follow along.
Right.
And it's for Fran. And have you done a show with Fran yet? I don't think you have.
I don't think I have.
Oh man, I can't wait. He is one of the most particular human beings I've ever met.
Particular?
In my life. He's just a character. You know,
he's great. I love Frank.
Oh, I love him. I love him to death. But it's just like he is not a real person. He is a cartoon character that somehow got Roger Rabbited into our world. And he's just here, and we've just been living with him, and he's just, I don't know. I love him.
I like Fran a lot. He's great. I enjoy watching his streams.
Windscape on Xbox One, Switch, and PC. Tale of the Fragmented Star, single fragment version on PlayStation 4. DayZ on Xbox One. Alien Cruise on Xbox One.
Alien Cruise sounds interesting.
It does, Kev.
Is that what it sounds like?
Bring
Could
it
that
up.
possibly be
I'll look into it.
like the Love Boat with aliens? Could that?
I'm
because
imagining
I
it's
would
like
be
an
in for
alien
that.
party game. Like it's like Mario Party, but with aliens, and they're on a cruise ship, and there's a lot of dice being rolled. You know.
You think? Let's see.
We'll have to see. Coming to Xbox One. Huh. Neon Caves is coming to Switch. Haramita on PC. Golden Key on PC. And Die Already on PC and Mac. Here we got.
All right, here we go with Alien Cruise. 10 minutes of gameplay. Oh, it's a shooter.
Interesting.
It's a shooter that looks like the graphics were drawn by like a 10-year-old kid, but it's kind of charming in that way.
Yeah, it looks like it kind of has like an alien hominid vibe from back in the day. Little Newgrounds Flash action, but if the Flash was made in a
But it looks like Napoleon Dynamite designed this game. Do you know what I mean? Like
yeah.
it just looks like something he's drawn on the back of his Trapper Keeper.
Yeah.
But that's cute though. All right, I like it. I like it. Alien Cruise. All right, we're in.
Some new dates for you. Ethan Gach over at Kotaku.
What's Gach up to?
What did you just say?
Nothing. I was just.
Enter the Gungeon's final update, A Farewell to Arms, will arrive April 5th on PC, Xbox One, PS4, and Switch. It'll add new weapons, items, another secret boss room, and 2 extra characters, the Paradox and the Gunslinger. Perfect reasons to revisit one of this generation's best roguelikes.
Never heard of it.
Enter the Gungeon?
Enter the Ethan Gach Kotaku. Enter the Gungeon.
No. Ethan Gach is the name of the editor at Kotaku.
Oh, Ethan Gach at Kotaku.
Who reports
reporting
on Enter the Gungeon.
Well, but look,
I know.
put it all in italics, so it makes it look like it's all part of the same.
Fran needs training wheel script. I just write things and I'm like, I'll know what it means.
It's all in italics, so to read it, you'd think the name of the game is Ethan Gach Kotaku : Enter the Gungeon.
Dude,
maybe that's what it should be called.
Why is the O in Kotaku capitalized? Like, you know what I mean? I'm just there tippity tapping away.
Nothing makes any sense.
Paste, right, Tim? Copy and paste.
You know what? No, Kevin. No.
You've done it again down here. Now there's another game out here called Cecilia D'Anastasio Kotaku.
Yeah.
Overcooked 2.
Overcooked 2
But the
just
thing is
announced its new DLC.
The thing is, they all actually sound like names of obscure Japanese games.
You're right, they do. First Star Fragment Edition. Cecilia D'Anastasio over at Kotaku reports Overcooked 2 just announced its new DLC, Campfire Cook-Off. Players are headed to the woods with a new map, 12 levels, and some new campfire-themed recipes.
Oh, that sounds fun.
Little marshmallows? I'm sure.
Yeah, make some s'mores maybe.
Yeah.
Oh, that would be perfect for Overcooked because you got to combine. You'd have the graham crackers,
Got to do the
the
cooking by the book.
marshmallow, and the chocolate bar. And then of course you got to roast them just not
Just right.
not too you want them to burn.
Yeah, I'm sure
Yeah.
there's like raccoons around. You got to like stop them from eating the s'mores.
I have the worst luck in that. Anytime I've tried to make a s'more like over a campfire or
Yeah,
even over the
it
stove,
comes
because you
off.
can just do it over the if you've got like a gas
Yeah.
burner. Mine catch fire and burn almost immediately. I can never get like just that nice golden brown.
Yeah. I'm not a big s'more fan.
No.
I feel like it's just like, let's take a bunch of things that you like and put them together in a way that's weird when they're on fire. Nah, I'm good. Just give me some chocolate. Give me some marshes, you know? Deals of the day. The biggest iPad sale ever is happening right now. This comes from Chris Reed at IGN. Anyone who's been waiting for a deal to pick up an iPad Pro, Nick Scarpino, if you're listening, this is news for you. You'll want to take a look at this. Amazon currently has 11 and 12.9-inch iPad Pro tablets in a number of configurations, all the Wi-Fi ones. Pretty much any option in Wi-Fi of iPad Pros are on sale for their lowest price ever. If you're planning to buy one anyway, you might as well do it now and save between $100 and $200 on the best high-end tablets on the market. That's a ridiculous deal for Apple. So check it out. What's up, B-Money?
Question from the press pool. Did you talk about Wolfenstein?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Did you put that under new date?
I made it out of story.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah, Wolfenstein Youngblood. Let's go.
Let's go, Youngblood. And then, well, let's see. I think that was it for deals of the day, because now it's time for reader mail. But first reader mail comes from Steven. Steven says, hearing Greg talk about the Oculus Quest has me excited. I never considered getting a VR unit other than the PSVR. The ease of use, the Quest seems like a dream come true. I want to get one, but I'm worried that the PSVR 2 will come out relatively soon and make my purchase of Quest a waste. Assuming there is a PSVR 2, how likely do you think it is that it will launch the same year as PS5? Also, do you think PSVR 2 will be completely wireless and not require an external camera? Sorry for the long question and then making it longer by saying sorry. I think that we have seen a fully dedicated Sony when it comes to the PlayStation VR as recently as 2 days ago during their State of Play direct thing.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like they're continuing to be fully behind it.
Did you see the State of Play?
I didn't watch the whole thing, but I watched like the clips that got pulled out of it. I watched a bunch of trailers.
I would say 70% of it was PSVR and PSVR games of consequence.
So Sony is all in on PSVR.
And they're all in, and I think that they're continuing to prove that to the believers, and I think that they're converting a lot of non-believers. And they're also converting a lot of people like me that have doubted them in the past for their commitment to a peripheral like this based on previous generations' missteps when it comes to things like the PlayStation Move or things like the PlayStation Vita. I'm not going to call that a misstep. Don't want people angry at me. But I think that they're definitely going to have a PSVR 2 at some point. And I wouldn't be surprised if it was sooner than the PS5, just to kind of incentivize people once this new lineup of games comes out that they've been showing off, like the Iron Man
I mean,
VR,
if it's higher fidelity, higher resolution, and some of the things you'd expect from PSVR 2, it might well be that it will need a PS5 to drive that because it's a lot of compute power.
And I think that that's the more likely option. Is that yes, PSVR 2 will be a thing, but it will launch with the PS5. I don't think it'll be bundled with the PS5, but I think that it'll be a similar time frame. I think within the year makes sense. I don't know that it's the best call to release both of them like day and date because I think that's just too much hardware that you're putting out for people, because that'd be upwards of $1,000 potentially that you're asking people to invest. But I think it's a safe bet that a next generation PSVR unit will exist alongside the PS5.
And to answer the writer's question here, I'm actually very excited about the Oculus Quest because it solves a couple of problems that I think for the longest time have really been holding VR back. One is the fact that you're tethered. And it's, even though they make the cables pretty long, you get tangled, you turn around, you get tangled up in the cables. Sometimes it kind of like jerks, the headset is going to get jerked off your head because you've gone too far. It's cumbersome. It's not fun to feel. Just feeling tethered is not fun. And there's a lot. Anyone who's ever set up an Oculus Rift or even a PSVR knows there's a lot of fucking cables involved, and it's a hassle. So the Oculus Quest, completely wireless, solves that problem. The other problem is that PSVR has a relatively elegant solution to this. But again, if you've used Oculus, where you've got the little stand-up cameras, or if you ever used HTC Vive, where they've got the lighthouses up in the corner, it's all a big fucking hassle. And so I think, like, as much as I'm a big believer in VR, I think part of the reason why it has not yet changed the world in the way that a lot of people thought it would back in the beginning is because it's being held back by some of these basic issues.
The setup,
it's basically too much of a hassle to use. Oculus Quest is the first one that I've seen that removes all of the hassle and still gives you a really good experience. I don't know how possible it is, but my number one thing on a wish list for PSVR 2, and it's the number one thing that stopped me from buying a PSVR, and it's the number one thing that would compel me to buy a PSVR 2, is find a way to make it wireless. Now, obviously, there are latency issues with that kind of stuff, and you've got to transmit all the stuff wirelessly. There's a lot of data going back and forth between when you're pushing a VR game. So I don't know how doable that is, but for me it's a huge differentiator, and I would love to see the next generation of VR technology across the board, not just PSVR, make that leap into the wireless future and get us away from feeling tangled and tethered and all kind of tied up in cables all the time.
I think it's more likely we'll see something like the wireless Vive with the PSVR as opposed to the Oculus Quest here.
Oh, I'm not suggesting it'll be a self-contained unit. I'm saying that it would have a transmitter. You'd have a thing that you plug into the PS. Maybe the PS. If they're smart, I would just say the PS5 already has it built into it. Like a dedicated.
I mean, that I think would be the best solution, and I think
just
that's
put it
the
on.
most likely
Wirelessly
solution.
Connects. That would be amazing, and I'd be all in on PSVR 2 if they did that. I just don't know how technologically or economically possible if we're there yet. That might still be a couple of generations more away. I guess.
I think we are.
Well, Oculus Quest solves the problem by just having everything in
there.
There's nothing.
And I don't think
it's not
PlayStation
talking to anything.
Although it's not out of the realm of possibility that PlayStation kind of just puts this out as its own hardware unit that doesn't need PS4 or PS5 to work. I don't think that's the most likely solution.
No, I think they're still going to want to rely on the power of the base console. The question is, can you at least simplify the wires, or again, preferably get rid of them completely? Because it's the one thing. Excuse me. As much as I love my Oculus Rift, I don't spend a whole bunch of time playing it because every time I play it, it's like, it really is like the spaghetti jungle of cables, and it's just a big old mess.
Yeah.
I want to just be able to put the thing on and get on with it.
Gotcha. James Alexander writes in and says, I currently own a PS4, Xbox One, Switch, and a Vive, and I barely have time to play through the games I own now, especially with Game Pass, Games with Gold, PS Plus. Even though I live and breathe video games, I can't get hyped about Google Stadia and next gen, to be honest. Am I missing something from the Stadia announcement that should get me hype? Honestly, I think that you're right where you're at, where it's like there's nothing right now that's going to change the way that you're playing if you already have all those things. I think that you should be hyped about the potential of what this means for next generation, and in addition to what you're doing, like, it's just going to give you more. You seem like the type of person that is investing in video games and has expendable income. So if there's a game that you want to play anywhere, you'll be able to invest in this, whether it's a subscription service or a la carte model. And I think that that's going to go not just from Google, but like when you look at the other consoles as well with next gen, we don't know what that's going to look like yet. But I think that the cloud gaming doesn't make sense to people right now because we don't have it yet. But the moment that people have access to it and they understand what it can mean, I think that's going to change the way people play games. And I think that a very similar thing here is the Nintendo Switch. There were so many rumors going into the Switch. We all knew it was going to be a hybrid console handheld, but nobody could wrap their head around what that meant until we actually got it.
And then you go, oh, I get it.
And now now everybody would be like, what are you talking about? We totally got that.
Even though you intellectually understand it, because the promise was made before anyone got their hands on it, you just be able to dock it with the TV. The first time that you do that and it just instantly goes to the TV, you go, oh, it's like magic.
Yeah.
And you love it.
Because back then we didn't believe it would work.
But it worked.
And it worked. And I feel like cloud gaming is going to be the exact same thing. It's like right now we're all like, but the internet's not good enough, and this and this and this. And it's like, those are all real points. But if they prove to us that they can make it work as well as the Switch proved to us that it can.
Or as well as Assassin's Creed Odyssey, like, worked when what's his face brought it in.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
I mean, there are rightly a lot of people asking questions about Stadia and latency and bandwidth and stuff like that, and will it be enough to sustain? Will you be able to play all kind of games on it in a way that feels as good as you've got the box under the TV? And that remains to be seen. I think if anyone can solve that problem, it's Google, because they've got infinite resources. I think one of the things that has not been
resources.
What's that?
Nothing. Infinite resources seems so grandiose.
I mean, they do.
Yeah.
I mean,
They'll just buy more if they don't have.
As a practical matter, they kind of do. One of the things that I think hasn't been talked about enough, and I think is going to be a real quality of life improvement once people try, as you say, once they try and they go, oh, I get it now, is that kind of instant on nature of the games. Like when I play a game at home on my Xbox, from me turning on the Xbox to the game actually being playable with the controller in my hand and I'm playing the game, 2 minutes. It can, between the Xbox booting up, selecting the game going through its boot cycle and everything, it can take a while. One of the promises of Google Stadia is you play the game and you're playing it instantly. Like there's no load times, there's no boot up, no install or anything. You're just instantly there. And I think that is going to be, I think that's going to be one of those things that when people experience, they go, oh shit, like this is so much better than it used to be. Because I remember I saw a demo of it a while back, some of the Stadia stuff, and was really, really impressed by just how quickly it's just there instantly because it's all being done on their data side. You're not waiting for hard drives to spin up or anything like that, or for the data to be installed. It's just already there, and it's just immediate. You think about it this way: like when I decide to watch a Twitch stream or a YouTube stream, I'm not waiting 2 minutes for the stream to start. It starts instantly. That's what your games will be like, and I think that's really cool. Yeah,
going back to something you were saying earlier about like it's still up in the air on whether or not it'll match the experience you have playing on a box.
Yeah.
I don't think that it will, especially not yet. I think that maybe in the future, at some point, we'll have the technology that it does. But I also don't think that it needs to because of what you're saying. I think that it's going to create a pros and cons situation where at the end of the day, ease of use wins out majority of the time.
Right.
And this is why I keep bringing up Netflix as an example where, well, where Blu-rays look better. If you have a Blu-ray or a 4K Blu-ray in a physical device that's playing it on your TV, it looks better than 4K streaming on Netflix. However, to most people
can't tell the difference.
But even more than not telling the difference, they don't give a shit about the difference
Right.
because they're like, oh, well, that requires putting the disc in, doing this, doing whatever. And it's that 2 minutes that you're talking about. Whereas Netflix is just you click and you're in.
That was one of the comments that I saw after the Stadia announcement that I thought was very well observed, because a lot of people were asking questions about latency and performance and all that kind of stuff, and rightly so. But then somebody chimed in with the opinion of one of the problems with the way that the Stadia announcement had been covered in the enthusiast press is, well, we're all enthusiasts and we care about 4K, 60 frames a second. We care about all the stats under the hood. We care about the highest possible quality experience, and like you said, the difference between 4K Blu-ray and 4K on Netflix, there is a difference, but I think most people don't care or can't even notice.
And the Netflix 4K looks beautiful.
You got to remember, obviously, Google has to be able to satisfy the enthusiast market as well, the hardcore, but the majority of people aren't hardcore. For the majority of people, the 4K Netflix stream, the Google Stadia experience is going to be good enough. Good enough is good enough for most people.
Absolutely. And I think good enough is going to win out at the end of the day for this one. It's time to squad up. Carter on Twitch. His Twitch name is AJTEVE. Adjective. Not sure if this is an appropriate squad up, but I am a newer streamer who is doing an event for the launch of an indie game called Nova Drift. I've been given a few game codes to give away and would love for any best friends to come hang out in my stream while I chase achievements and give out codes to the game. Nova Drift launches on March 27th, and I plan on starting my giveaway stream at 6 a.m. Pacific until about 2 p.m. Pacific or later.
That's today.
Yeah.
Yeah, today. He's going right now, guys. Go check it out. Twitch.tv/AJTEVE. Go check it out.
He started his stream at 6 a.m. PST.
Crazy.
I guess
people,
he's got the European market in mind. That's early to start streaming. Who's up streaming at 6 o'clock in the morning?
AJT, man. Dude? Get on there. He's giving away the game Nova Drift. Check it out. Hopefully it looks cool. And now it's time for You're Wrong. Let's see.
I feel like there was...
I'm sure we got a lot
I think today's going to be a banner day for You're Wrong. We'll see.
All right, let's see. Oh, man, yeah.
There's a lot of stuff. Is it
At least a lot of people.
There's a lot of stuff we didn't know today.
Okay. So far, seen a lot of bullshit.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
1 second.
Oh, is this the guy streaming right now?
Yeah, pull it up. Kev.
Okay, so this is the guy playing Nova Drift. All right.
Again,
Good call.
He's not watching our content. Pretty upset about that. I'm not gonna lie. This game looks cool though.
Yeah, it looks like almost like is it like a Geometry Wars?
I don't know what that means.
Really?
Have you never played Geometry Wars? You fucking
or
up,
Super Stardust?
Yeah.
Kind of feels a bit like that as well.
Smart game. Nanobiologist has some breaking news. Ubisoft has announced their E3 press conference for June 10th at 1 p.m. Pacific. Not really surprising.
Wait, what was that?
Ubisoft announced when their press conference is.
Oh, for E3?
June 10th.
I wonder what they're going to announce at E3 this year.
Yeah, well, who knows? Watch Dogs 3, probably.
Yeah, I'm trying to think, like, where are they in their cycle? Like, they're not going to announce another Assassin's Creed right away, are they? Like, what's the next... Far Cry they just did. Like, what's the next big thing? Is Watch Dogs even a big thing? I know that it got a sequel, but it doesn't seem like it's kind of really hit, like, Division, Assassin's Creed, Far Cry type level of Ubisoft premier franchise yet.
I feel like they'll get there.
Yeah.
I feel like Ubisoft in the last couple years, like the last 2 years specifically, has just been killing it so hard that I think that they're not going to give up on franchises if they have belief in them. And I think Watch Dogs is one of those.
Right.
I've played Geometry Wars. Was this on the Vita?
Lord Apone says Borderlands came out on PC, PS3, and Xbox 360 in 2009 at the same time. So I was wrong.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I always remember it as a multi-platform title.
Brandon Hofer says Warhammer, Vermintide 2, Ashen, and After Party, and many other third-party titles have been on Game Pass on day one.
Oh, okay. Well, I stand corrected.
Those all seem like smaller titles compared to Borderlands, but still, there's precedent for it.
Anything else?
Lord Apone says in the new Wolfenstein game, you actually play as BJ's twin daughters. Tim said kid, singular.
Oh, okay. That's cool. I like that. Yeah, I'm excited about Youngblood. I'll definitely play that. How's it working? Is it split screen for co-op? Did they show anything about how they're doing that, or it was just all just cinematic stuff, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was just cinematic for this one. Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure like over online you'll be able to play each on your own screen, but I wonder if there'll be an option to play locally.
This, actually,
was there?
Yeah, there was, but I don't think there was like co-op game. I don't think we saw that.
Okay.
I didn't watch the whole trailer. I just skimmed
I feel like split screen gaming's kind of gone away.
Well, now they're going to be back with Google Stadia.
I hope so.
Luger Wolf says Luminous Productions' new project was confirmed last year to be a new IP and not a Final Fantasy game.
Right. Sounds about right. Yeah, I'm glad they're doing something new, not just more Final. I mean, obviously they will do more Final Fantasy as well, but
I saw an image that said that Final Fantasy 29 must be the last one because they can't do Final Fantasy XXX.
Oh, well, I mean, maybe they can. Maybe they just lean into
nasty,
it.
though.
The next one's the last one.
Who knows where the culture's going to be by the time the 30th. You know, we'll be in a cyberpunk future. I mean, yeah, anything
definitely
goes.
Like 200 years from now.
Yeah, maybe there's hardcore fucking in Final Fantasy's future.
All right, you won me over on it.
See, you went from like, oh, they can never do that, to now it's high on your wish list.
This is
now you want it.
This is hilarious. You're wrong. That we normally wouldn't read, but I'm going to now. Someone writes in and says, Harry's now only has 9,000 5-star reviews, not 20,000. Some influencer had a lot of people go change their 5-star review to 1-star to see if they can make them change the ad. That's
just
horrible.
Awful. That's just horrible.
That's so, you're fucking with so many people's livelihoods.
Man, I fucking hate influencers.
Don't do that shit. Don't
Who
fucking
are these
do
people?
that shit.
That's gross.
God.
I don't like that at all.
People that are watching, go and vote for that ESPN thing. Go and do it if you haven't done it yet.
Yeah, so that's what
Greg's obsessed
go
with.
vote for Greg Miller.
Greg is obsessed with winning polls and things, isn't he? Like,
It's so
important to him.
It's not
so
Greg.
important.
It's
so important to him.
Kind of funny, dude. You gotta win.
We don't make a lot of things that are great. So anytime anyone wants to put us on a pedestal, my God,
we'll take it, dude. We're jumping on that thing.
Dive, whatever we need to do.
I like that you guys have a winning mentality, and I like that.
You just gotta do it.
Win at all costs.
I love that we all in this office. Greg wasn't here when he sent us this. He slacked us a link to it, and we clicked on it, and we're like, what is this? None of us know it. We're like, doesn't matter. Greg needs to win. Vote for Greg.
100%.
Hey, now, jokes aside, I've said this before in a bunch of other ways, but these things mean something to us because it raises the brand awareness so high. In the same way when you're like, why would they name a ballpark Oracle Arena? That's not going to make me use Oracle stuff. It's awareness of the brand.
Yeah.
You know, I've never fully understood how that side of it works, but I know damn well how this works. When people are retweeting vote for Greg to win, all of a sudden more people know who Greg is. You know, more people know who Kind of Funny is. More people get to support beautiful shows like this and beautiful faces like that.
That's right.
Ladies and gentlemen, this has been Kind of Funny Games Daily. We will see you in a couple minutes with Kinda Funny AF. KFAF, as they call it. Tomorrow, it's me and Fran. And then Friday, it's Fran and Nimmer and Colin from Game Informer. Until next time, I love you.